Hey everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Hannah.
And welcome to Barefaced. Hi Hannah.
Hey Sarah.
Hello, hello. It is a bright and cold Sunday morning. That's the theme, I guess, for
Bright and cold.
It's so freaking cold. It just keeps dropping in temperature. I haven't left my house. I mean, I shouldn't be leaving my house anyways, but officially haven't even walked outside in 3 days because it's frigid. But yes. Welcome back, everyone. How is everyone doing? Please let us know how you're enjoying our content. We always like to hear feedback and get questions.
Yes, definitely.
Well, today we are doing the first in a series all about ingredients. This was something that we had gotten quite a few requests on. I know that Hannah and I are have been in the industry, and so we kind of talk about things at a pace that I feel like is normal for us, but might be a little quick for the average person. So we wanted to slow it down a little bit, break down some common ingredient types, how to search for those and identify them when you're shopping for products, and also what they're good for and if it's something you should be adding into your routine or something that you might not necessarily need. So today I wanted to jump into a topic that I'm super passionate about, and it was always my favorite thing to educate on, which are exfoliating acids. So we hear the word acid thrown around a lot. There are definitely a multitude of types of acids. What we're going to be talking about today strictly are exfoliators. So we won't be touching on hyaluronic acid or any type of acid numerator. What am I trying to say? Nomenclature, I think, is the word. But basically that acid just means that it has an A. What the hell? I can't speak today, guys. I'm so sorry. I have just had caffeine. It's 4 PM, so maybe it's kicking in if it's been a lazy morning.
Kicking at the end of the day.
Literally. You can just tell I'm a night person because my brain doesn't fully turn on until about 5, which is really good for my work-life balance. But when something says it has an acid, if you go back to organic chemistry, it basically means there's an oxygen and a hydrogen molecule that form a particular type of bond, and that's how you get an acid. So they're not all eat your skin away bad for you, which is something to keep in mind. We're going to touch on 3 different types of acids today: AHAs, BHAs, and the new runner-up, the PHA. So these are the most common types of exfoliators you will see. And what I'm going to do is break them down by type, what they're good for, the types of acids you will see on an ingredient list. And usually with acids, it will specifically call out the name. And then I'm going to give you a couple of examples at different price points of ways to get this into your routines. All right, so just a disclaimer, this research I grabbed from a couple different places, one being the training that I have received as an employee throughout my Sephora career with the beauty company we worked for. And then I did do additional research on the FDA website. I did some research on Allure, a article on Birdie, and then there was this really great article on Into the Gloss, which is a really cool beauty blog. So I kind of pulled from a lot of different spots just to make sure that what I had in my brain already was accurate and not some marketing mumbo jumbo that had been injected into me to sell product. Because sometimes that happens, as we've discussed with our SPF discussion. Sometimes that's deeply ingrained in who I am because that was my job for 3 years, was to sell things. So I just wanted to disclose that we are not doctors. We're just trying to give advice on how you can add these into your routine. And when we talk about them in future episodes, you'll have an idea of what we mean when we're discussing them.
Yeah. And those type of publications also, they work very closely with dermatologists a lot. So they're not just journalists. They are using
licensed
educated people. Exactly.
Dermatologists, estheticians, all that jazz.
So
let's dive in quickly because otherwise we'll be here talking for hours. I want to touch on AHAs first. Those are AHA is a shorthand term, which is standing for alpha hydroxy acids. So these always work above the skin. Above the skin, try and remember that they are surface level exfoliators. These
Mm.
are a lot more gentle than something that we'll touch on later in the episode, which are BHAs. These are great for all skin types. They're mostly going to be used for brightening your complexion and smoothing surface texture. So they're really good if you're feeling dull, if you feel like you have those like little bumps all over your skin. And there are like 5 main types that I found. The most common by far is going to be glycolic acid. That's like the
Mm.
hero AHA. Most AHAs use that. The second is going to be lactic. Those are the main two.
Mm.
And we've talked about lactic on this podcast before. It is an ingredient that my skin loves. The 3 other ones are in products that I've used, but they're usually not as common. I'm not sure if it's just because they're harder to source or they're not like just as popular. It's
Yeah.
malic acid,
Oh,
mandelic acid, and tartaric acid
okay. I've
or
heard of
tartanic.
malic acid. I'm pretty sure that's in apples. And Mandelic acid is one that I have used. Um,
Mhm.
yes. So when we get into products, I can talk about that. But yeah. And then the third, what was
Yeah.
the fifth one? Tartaric?
The 5th tartaric.
I've
It's
never heard of
from
that.
wine or grapes is what I read.
Oh,
Um, so just a different like source material basically for any of
yeah.
those different types of acids. Um, just something to be aware of is if you've never used an acid, an AHA is a great place to start. It is really important you start off slow with introducing any of these actives into your routine. They can cause a lot of redness, dryness, flaky skin, and they do cause photosensitivity. So I recommend personally to start off using it PM only with like a smaller concentration, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 nights a week. And then
Mhm.
as your skin gets used to it, you can build that up and do a little bit more.
And just to jump in quickly, photosensitivity means that your skin is a little bit more susceptible to damage from the sun.
Yeah. So it just means like you can get a little bit more irritated if you're using these products and you go out without an SPF.
Yeah.
Which is why I always recommend starting them PM. You should obviously still be using an SPF, but if you're only using them at nighttime, this is going to be something you'll see less. Whereas if you're using it daytime,
Hmm.
you might just notice you get a little bit more of that like tingly feeling when you're out in the sun or like walking
Right.
around at your daytime.
Right.
Yeah. So I picked 3 products. This for this particular category, there are a ton of options at the drugstore. I personally have never found something that I love or like is exciting to me at a drugstore that's just an AHA. The
Hmm.
ones that I have from the drugstore are combo products, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But the like hero for me that I've used, I think I've gone through 2 bottles now, is the Sunday Riley Good Genes. So this is
Oh.
lactic acid. It is a little pricey. It's $85 for an ounce. They do sell a jumbo size as well, which I think is 1.7 ounces and it's 100. They were on sale for like 65 when I saw it earlier. So I'm not sure if they're changing packaging or what's going on. They're just like promoting it for a lower price.
Was this their
Um,
second formulation that was just lactic acid?
I'm not it might be a reformulation of the original Good Genes.
Yeah, because I do remember that they came out with the second Good Genes, but I don't remember if the just lactic acid was the first one that they made or the second one that they released like a year ago or something.
Yeah, I this was the only one that I found. It's always been called like Good Genes Lactic Acid Exfoliating Treatment. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what I had heard the rumor mill popped out that they were trying to reduce the amount of preservatives in it and make it a little bit more natural, quote unquote natural, clean. They were trying to get to like show that
Oh,
they weren't just a clinical brand. They also cared about their efficacy and sustainability.
got
I
it.
don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard about the reformulation.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, because I thought there was something to do with international, and right now I'm on Cult Beauty, and they have the Good Genes glycolic acid treatment.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
so I'm confused.
Yeah, well, I do know that especially in Australia and the UK, there are rules about how much of an acid you can have. So I know,
Mm,
for example, this product, the Drunk Elephant Subaki facial,
yeah.
and like there's a ton of products that can't be sold in those countries because they have to have like I think it's like 11% or less actives, or maybe it's like 15. And those products have a higher concentration than that. So we'd have clients coming in all the time and like bulking up and like bringing it back with them because they couldn't get it even
Interesting.
shipped because
I
like
wonder.
health things.
Oh,
But like
interesting. I wonder if it's over a certain percentage, if they just want to reserve it for being
clinical.
prescribed. Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
that's so
Because I don't
interesting.
think there's anything wrong with using a hair concentration safely. It's potentially just
Yes.
that they want to safely.
Right. Safely is the key word there. Yes. If you know how to use it and you're not gonna like, burn the crap out of your skin and get all sensitive to the UV rays, then 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing with acids is like, I know personally I've jumped into acids probably quicker than I should have. Like I went from 0 to 180, 100 real freaking fast and my skin hated me for it. So I always recommend like taking it slow.
Hmm.
The second product I picked because I know Hannah loved it.
Oh,
I have not tried this one personally, but it is one that's just it's glycolic and witch hazel, which is like a natural BHA, but they don't
okay.
classify it with being like an acid, right? So it's the Ula Hendrickson Glow 2O Dark Spot Toner. This
Oh,
one's
I do love
29
this.
bucks.
Yes.
It's
So this
so
is just
good.
AHA. It's just lactic
Just
acid.
glycolic.
Oh,
Glycolic.
glycolic.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they did have a little bit of witch hazel. It was like in the middle of the ingredient list, so I don't know
Yeah. I mean, we could
how
speculate all
high.
day. We won't know.
But glycolic was like the second or third ingredient. So
Yeah. I
this one a
really
little bit
like
more
this toner.
affordable.
It is a little bit more affordable, and I think it helps a lot with post acne pigmentation. This is actually the second bottle that I'm on that I've purchased both. I actually didn't receive any of this as gratis, unfortunately. Um, but it doesn't strip my skin. It doesn't over exfoliate too much.
Hmm.
And I have used it in the morning and the night, and I haven't seen it react horribly with anything else that I've used. But I'm sure, as Sarah will get into this later, you have to be careful when you mix your acid. So
Try not to.
I tend
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
You have to be really careful. And this is why I think it's important we do these ingredient deep dives because we can say like in our routines, like I'm using this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's a lot, but it's because we've experienced and experimented with what works for our skin.
Yeah.
And we've spent, I don't know, I've probably spent 3 or 4 years at this point trialing with like how far my skin can go before it hates me.
Right.
And now I know that like I can't use a retinol more than 2 times a week. So I use a
Mhm.
lot more acids. And for
Right.
me, I do use an acid every day at this point, some type of acid, but
Mhm.
I've worked up to that over a long period of time.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So definitely something to remember that these are chemicals that are exfoliating your skin. So it's always
Yes.
good to be, I always am very like, just like, please don't start too quickly is always how I say it. Like start at 1 day a week if you're nervous, or like start
Right.
with a mask, which is actually the next one that I had on the list. This is one I haven't tried, but it's been on my list. It's won a ton of awards. It's the Biossance Squalene and Glycolic Mask. So
Oh,
this one
yes.
has, have you used it?
No, but I've seen it
Oh, I
everywhere and I
want to use
really
it
want
so
to.
bad. So this has 4 of our AHAs in it. So it's glycolic, Lactic, Tartaric, and the Malic Acid.
Okay.
So it also has, I believe, a physical exfoliator in there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But masks are a really great way, in my opinion, to try out how your skin will react to an acid. And then you can just like keep doing your normal routine. You can add in like
Mhm.
once a week, see
Yeah.
how it goes. If it goes well, great. You can invest in something a little bit more every day.
Right.
This one retails for 48 bucks and it's 2.5 ounces. So it's a squeezy tube as well, which I
Mhm.
am here for.
Yes.
I actually feel like that's a decent price for
Yeah, that's
a
not
mask.
bad. Yeah. I mean, especially if you don't have to layer it on super, super thick. A lot of these acid products, especially if they're mass, you don't need a really thick layer.
Hmm.
So, that could probably, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Didn't you just order it?
I ordered, so in case anyone cares, Biossance was my like high-end brand I wanted to try more of
Yeah.
in 2021. So I had purchased a sunscreen at TJ Maxx. I've learned it's actually discontinued, which is probably why I was at TJ Maxx. They like reformulated and made it different.
Got it. Yeah.
Um, which makes sense because it's not great. Um,
Whoa,
uh,
spoiler.
well, let me be real. It's white when I put it on,
And
and
you're very pale.
I'm very pale.
Yeah.
So I really have to warm it up and I have to let it sink in. So I can definitely see it's not, the texture is just not there.
Right.
And, for only like a 10% zinc concentration, I feel like it's really hard to
really
blend.
chalky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really chalky. And then Biossance did a like $25 off 65 purchase for their 4th birthday. So I got the lactic acid serum.
Oh, you got the serum. Oh,
I got the
misunderstood.
serum.
I thought you got the mask. Okay.
No, I got the
it.
serum because I took a sample home and I loved the sample.
Yeah.
And I've already gone through like a third of my bottle of Honeymoon Glow because I also have been really liking it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have something else on the back burner to like look forward to.
Got it. And just for people listening, Honeymoon Glow is an overnight enzymatic exfoliator. Yeah,
It's
chemical
on the
exfoliator.
list. It's on the list for later.
From pharmacy. Yeah. And Sarah will get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of those, like, it does a combination of things. So we will definitely get into that one at the end. Just a couple tips, disclaimers. I would say we've already talked about, you want to be cautious when you're starting acids. I would say for sure, if it's your first time getting into it, or even if you've used an acid for a little bit, you want to make sure that I would definitely recommend not mixing it with a retinol, like on the same night.
For sure.
I would say retinol once a week and your exfoliator is like twice a week to start if you're like at that point in your skin. But if you're like a skin virgin, which I hate that term, I've like really started like, I don't like that that's what we use, but like if you're a newbie's a better term.
Yeah.
If you're a newbie, I would just say like find a formula that's super gentle. And I would say like a mid concentration. You don't need to jump into like a 20% like exfoliator if you're brand new.
Right.
You could do something a little bit more chill. Something I would say even honestly like there's a product that I'll talk about later, but something like the Pixie Glow Tonic.
Yeah.
Super easy, accessible, not stripping. And you can use that a couple days a week, get your skin used to it, work up to every day, and then jump into something a little bit heavier.
To use additionally.
Yeah. And I think it's also good to know that if you're going to be using an exfoliating product physically, like a scrub or a mask or something like that, you want to make sure that you're only using hydration, like straight hydrating products after. You don't want to layer those together in the same 24-hour period unless you know that your skin can handle it. Yeah. And that really does come by like no one loves that skincare takes a while to work, right? Like I know personally with my acne journey, like I pop and I pick and I pile products on, which makes it worse because I want it to get fixed instantly. And I'm sure Hannah can attest to that. It just takes
a while,
time, which is so annoying. But your skin takes a long time to turn over, which is why it can take a month or 2 months to see results. So you just want to go slower, and you always want to be really kind and gentle to your skin.
Yeah. You just want to make sure that you're not over exfoliating or using too many exfoliating products one right after the other, especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah. And I will say, I think that's something that also bothers me a little bit in the marketing of a lot of these products. Because like, let's be real, companies want you to use and go through their product quickly.
Yeah.
So there was a brand that was sold at Sephora that came out with like a box for Christmas. And it had like a retinol, an exfoliator, cleanser. I can say the brand. I don't know why I'm jumping around it. It was Sunday Riley. Riley came out with this Christmas box. And if you already used and loved their products, it was a phenomenal deal. Right. You got like 2 full-size products, a full-size moisturizer. It was wonderful. But I had a woman bring it in and say, like, they told me I could layer a retinol and the Tidal moisturizer, which has exfoliators in it. And I could use this. And it had like 6 different layers of exfoliation. She's like, my skin is beet red and it peeled off. And I'm like, well, no crap. Like, obviously that's what happened.
Right.
But you could tell the person that sold her that just wanted to make that sale and get those products in her hands so she would love them and come back and buy them again.
Yeah.
And I hate when brands market it like that. Yeah. And I hate when associates do it just to make sales.
And here's something that I thought of. So a lot of companies, especially newer products, or whatever, products that are currently being released or have been rebranded, they will say gentle enough to use every day.
That's not always the case.
Try it out first. Don't take their word for it right away because they don't know you. They don't know your skin. They don't know what you're sensitive to. Be cautious of it. Number 2, Sarah said, start off with lower concentrations. Sometimes they won't release the concentration. Sometimes they will.
True.
And that can make it difficult. So if they release the concentration and you've already used something, for example, if it's a 2% BHA, right? Sarah will get into it. But it basically is salicylic acid. If it's a 2% and you've always used 2%, so you know how your skin reacts to it, great. If it just says contains BHA or contains salicylic acid, and it could be any sort of percentage, but you still have had some experience with it, just be a little cautious and see how your skin reacts to it instead of just replacing it right away using it like you did your other product that you knew exactly what percent it was. I think any formulation, you just have to be wary when you try something new, but if they don't say the percentage and if you're really not sure, just again, be cautious.
Yeah. And I think something that I don't do enough, I really need to get better at, is patch testing. So you can
I never
patch
do
on
patch
either,
testing.
I never patch test. I really should, because there are some things
Yeah.
that I've definitely reacted to. You can patch test either your inner wrist. I usually recommend doing like on the back of your neck behind your ear, because that's a
Yeah.
little bit more similar. Both are like a thinner skin like your face.
Right.
But on
you're
your
not
neck at
using face
least.
cleanser on your wrist. You're using face cleanser
Exactly.
on your neck. So I think it makes sense. And by patch testing, what Sarah means is, you cleanse your skin or whatever, and then you take a tiny bit of that product and you just apply like the smallest amount. And then you can see how your skin reacts to it if you get any sort of reaction. And then you can kind of assume that however it reacted on that small area of your neck, it'll react the same, if not similar, same, if not similar way on your face.
And that way, if you do have like a raging breakout or you get a rash, it's only on this small part of your neck. It's not all over your face. Cause I know
Right.
I've definitely been there with certain products.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just some PSAs about like getting into acids. And if you guys do have questions, like feel free to message us or email us. We will either try to like respond to you or answer them on a future episode.
Yes.
That way
for
we
sure.
can like have some clarity if what we're saying doesn't make sense.
Yes.
All right, then let's get into BHAs, which Hannah did mention. BHAs are below the skin exfoliators. B below, A above. BHAs are beta hydroxy acids. So these are the kick butt ingredients for acne. They're amazing for pore cleaning. They help remove buildup and they keep those pores clean. And just in general, what they do is they go in and scoop all the crap out of your pores and wash it away.
Nice.
Thank you. The main one is salicylic acid. I actually had to dig quite a bit to find other BHAs because most articles are like, it's only salicylic.
Right.
Fun fact, it's not, but it's the one that you're going to see, I'd say 95% of the time.
Right.
The other three are, I'm going to try really hard not to butcher. It's a long name.
Okay.
Hydroxybutanoic acid. And then Tropic Acid, which I have seen start to pop up.
Okay.
I've seen like a couple products. And then Trethocanic Acid. And that's from the FDA website. That's where I pulled those because I wanted to make sure I was correct.
Yeah.
The FDA even said like you will not really see anything other than salicylic. Just because it is so effective at what it does.
Right.
You'll see it marketed in a lot of different products. The one that we both love and is near and dear to our heart is the Paula's Choice 2% liquid exfoliant.
Oh, that is so good.
It's so good.
And
it's so gentle.
Yes. And that's, and here's the thing is I've tried, so to clarify, the Paula's Choice is a 2% BHA, so 2% salicylic acid. It's a toner. So you put on a cotton pad and you swab it all over your face after cleansing or instead of cleansing, whatever. I've tried so many salicylic acid toners that range from 0.5% salicylic acid to 2% salicylic acid. A lot of them are geared towards oily skin types, or they're geared towards all skin types, but they tend to be drying. This one is not drying. It actually leaves a hydrating, essency type feel
almost
on
like
your
a
skin.
Film. Yeah. Not a bad film.
But not a bad film. Exactly. Yeah. But I
it's
totally
almost like a
agree with
protective
that.
layer.
Yes. So in the winter, I'm at altitude, it's dry as a desert up here. It's a really great acne busting toner for dry skin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm so glad Hannah recommended this one to me. We had that discussion on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's just heaven. Like it really is. It's so good at what it does. And I think this for a majority of people, you could start 2 days out of the week and work it up to every night and you would still be okay.
Yeah.
I don't think, I don't think it has a ton of sensitivity, which is good. Still recommend a sunscreen, but like, I don't think it's that I like in comparison for something that has like like I've tried a couple other toners that are only AHAs and they feel stripping. BHAs are
Mm.
technically more intensive. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
getting deeper into your skin. That molecule is smaller.
Mm.
That's how it gets deeper into your skin and penetrates. But for some reason, this one doesn't do that. So I
Yeah.
think for 30 bucks, 4 ounces, 29.50, you can actually, I believe this on Derm Store, if you add it to your favorites, it does come with that 10% discount,
Yes.
which is my new favorite trick Hannah taught me.
Right? Isn't that
It's
nice?
so good.
It's not
Kate
every
Somerville is not
product.
included. Yeah,
Right. I
Kate
mean,
Somerville is
some
not,
products
but
aren't, but there are some that are. And if you can just get even that 10 or 15% discount, I mean,
I'll
that's
take it.
tax. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So I did find a drugstore version of a
Hmm.
2% liquid BHA toner, and that's from Naturium. I only found this on their website. It is not sold anywhere else. It's 20 bucks for 4 ounces. So
Okay.
about $10 cheaper. It's still a little on the pricey side, but I think to get that true 2% at a drugstore price point
Right.
is pretty impressive for a
What is this
BHA.
one called?
It's the Naturium BHA liquid exfoliant 2%.
Okay.
And I will say this one, I had so much trouble finding products that were just BHAs. A lot of them do mix.
Right.
So the third one that I had, I also haven't tried, but it's from Tata Harper, which is a brand I've heard so much about.
I love
I
Tata.
love
Oh my
this is
gosh.
their resurfacing BHA glow mask. It is super popular. I think it's one of her hero products.
Is this the
Um,
one? Is that what it's the resurfacing mask? Yeah, it's like a jelly.
Correct. Yep. They
That's
added the phrase
really good.
BHA in it, which is
Okay.
smart. Smart
That is very smart, but that's
marketing.
not how I had it like what 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I don't know. It's very good. It's
Yeah.
pricey, but it definitely did
It's
not have
65 bucks
BHA.
for an ounce,
Yeah.
which is the same price as Glam Glow masks.
Oh God, those suck. I hate them.
Some of them suck. I've had a couple that I've liked.
Okay. They were so irritating to my skin.
Yeah, they have a ton of acids in them, I've discovered, which is probably why they were so irritating. They just have a
Got
really
it.
crazy formulation.
Okay.
But Tata Harper is a pricey ass brand. She's so
It is.
pricey.
It is.
But her products are beautiful. I felt
Yeah.
a lot of them in store before COVID, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They just her whole brand is very like I heard this phrase recently, granola goddess. And I feel like that's
Oh,
very like it's like apparently like this style that's happening on TikTok. And I feel like Tata Harper is like a granola goddess where she's just
right.
like, I'm here and I'm providing you these products and they're all natural. And we use she has like, I think something crazy, like 1,000 ingredients that won't be formulated into her products.
I
'Cause they're
mean, a lot of
detrimental.
people can now say that, which is fine. But she's kind of like pharmacy, she has her farm in Vermont and
Yep.
she grows a bunch of stuff there. She uses it in her products. And they're luxury products.
Mhm.
They're a nice experience, they're a nice gift to give, a nice gift to get. They are pricey, but that resurfacing mask, there's
It's
a reason
it's
why
good.
it's popular. Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
also look pricey. Like I like when this sounds probably kind of weird, but I like if a product is expensive, it looks like what I'm paying for. So for example, like the Tata Harper are in these beautiful frosted green glass bottles. They have like gold labels. They could sit on a vanity and it's like, oh, that girl got money. Like, and if I'm going to spend $65 on a mask, I want people to see it on my vanity and go, oh,
That
she
looks nice.
bougie. Yeah, exactly. Same with like foundations, even or like eyeshadow palettes. I feel like sometimes I spend so much money on my makeup and it
Yeah.
just looks like a plastic ball. And I'm like, why am
Yeah.
I paying this much?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because the formula's good.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, so the final acid we're going to talk about
Oh, I
today
just wanted
are,
to say one
oh,
more thing.
yes.
Sorry. So, as Sarah mentioned, the most popular BHA you'll see is salicylic acid, right? So,
Mhm.
just from experience and us being teenagers and not having a lot of these common brands, a lot of the salicylic acid products are are geared towards acne prone people. So they will say acne busting toner, acne fighting toner. Like if
Mhm.
you go to the Neutrogena section or the clean and clear section or Biore or whatever, if there is a product that says acne on it, I can almost guarantee you that it has some form or some percentage of salicylic acid in it. It's either that or
Yeah.
benzoyl peroxide, but if it's an acid, it's going to be salicylic acid.
Correct. Yeah. And that shouldn't scare you. Like we've had that discussion on the podcast before too,
Yeah.
where I, for a long time as a dry skin girl, was afraid to use acne products because they weren't my product, which is not true at all. Like it just means that they're digging into your pores and pulling out things. Guess what? If you're dry, that's probably going to be your dead skin. Like, let's get real. Your pores are still going to be clogged with things. It's just not like oil and sebum, like an acne prone person.
Right. It's not going to be like the acne bacteria. It's going to be other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, what companies are doing is, I mean, we've talked about this when we talked about Pharmacy Deep Sweep. That is a 2%, right? Salicylic acid toner. They could have called it an acne toner, but then they would have eliminated a large chunk of the market. So
no, they called it a pore cleaning toner.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. Like, I don't think it's wrong marketing. It's just choosing to be selective of who your customer base is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just something I wanted to add.
Yeah. No, that's a good point to add because I know that like in general, if you're not acne prone, you probably just stay clear, but there are products that are good even if you don't have acne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go into PHAs. So these are what Allure called second generation AHAs. These, from what I can tell, really came over from like Asian beauty trends.
Okay.
PHAs have a huge molecule. They're also called polyhydroxy acids. So this molecule is the biggest out of the three. They are the most surface exfoliator.
Oh, okay.
So they really just exfoliate the dead skin that sits on the surface of your face. That's it. They're ultra gentle. The molecule doesn't penetrate very deeply. So these are good either on their own or in conjunction with other exfoliators. Really, really good for sensitive skins. I'd say a majority of the time, you are only going to see these in formulation with other AHAs, BHAs, things like that.
Okay.
There were 3 that were labeled. I've never like looked on an ingredient list to see these, but I'll read them off in case anyone's interested. Again, I'm sorry if I butcher them. They are long and look intimidating. So it is Gluconolactone.
So if we see Gluconolactone or whatever, that's a PHA.
Correct.
Okay.
And then Galactose. And then Lactobionic Acid.
Okay. I don't remember ever really looking and seeing those, but I don't know.
Yeah. And there might be like, it's such a newer ingredient and an ingredient trend.
Right.
I found only 2 products that just use PHAs. So one is Naturium, PHA topical acid, 12% PHA.
Okay.
$20, 1 ounce. Again, just on their website. I've really discovered Naturium has like super unique ingredients. So they have like a whole niacinamide line. They have a whole like vitamin C line. You can tell that Susan Yara, who like owns and runs that brand, I believe she's a doctor. I might be wrong, but I thought she was.
She is? Whoa.
I thought maybe an esthetician, maybe not a doctor.
I don't think yeah.
You gonna look it up for me?
Yeah, I don't think she.
Because I know she's an influencer. I thought she had other credentials other than just being an influencer, because at least from what I can see, her brand resembles a lot more of those like dermatologist brands, because the ingredients are super unique and she puts percentages on all of her products, which I appreciate for like a drugstore price brand.
Right.
I don't think you see that.
Yeah, no, you definitely
I think it's really nice. Maybe she is just an influencer, but a very well-educated influencer.
Yeah, she has her bachelor's of science in communication and journalism on her LinkedIn.
That makes sense.
So I don't know if she's an esthetician, it's not on her LinkedIn. And I feel like if she had gone to medical school, it would have been listed.
I agree. So maybe she just has a really good team of doctors that are helping her formulate these products, because that's also possible that she's like added people to her team.
Oh, I mean, 100%. She's got someone who's helping her formulate. But I mean, she's been in the business for,
ever
a while, at least 6 years as far as I can tell here. So
yeah. The other product that I found that was PHA only, which I'm now super excited to try. It is pricey, but it's the Peter Thomas Roth 10% PHA exfoliating clarifying toner.
Oh,
it's $58, but it's 5 ounces. So you're getting an extra ounce.
Okay.
In general, I feel like it would be, if you have the money, a fantastic intro to exfoliating, because it is only PHA. There's no other acid, so it's super gentle. This is a product where like I would again start it out slow, but you could probably work yourself up to using it every day pretty damn quickly.
Okay. That I didn't know
I know
they just had that. That sounds really interesting. And
it's
just
part of their new, they brought out like a 3 different liquid toners basically. So there's like a retinol one, there's this one, and then I think there's a niacinamide one. They brought them
got
out
it.
about a year
Okay.
ago.
So there's this PHA toner from Peter Thomas Roth, and then the Naturium PHA. Is that a serum, like an overnight serum, or is that a
Serum.
toner? Okay. So
It
the
looks like a
overnight
serum.
serum, you just well, sorry, I'm gonna get myself confused. The Naturium serum is one that you would use overnight, rinse off in
Mhm.
the morning, and then the PHA toner obviously is from Peter Thomas Roth. So you just use it like any other toner. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought they were just cool to mention. I haven't tried either of them, but from my research, they looked really nice. And both of those are brands that like I really trust Peter Thomas Roth. I've used a couple of
Right.
his things. But their products are some of the most effective that I feel like are on the market. He's been in business for ages.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate that he lists his ingredients very clearly and his concentrations are 90% of the time on his packaging, like bright in the front for you to see.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His anti-aging stuff is sublime. Like it is chef kiss. Not there yet, but I think he'd be a brand I'd reach for a lot more in my older years.
Good to know.
Yeah. And then I picked 3 of my favorite combo products. So these
Okay.
are products that use both AHAs, BHAs, potentially other exfoliators as well. We already touched on the Pixie Glow Tonic. It
Mhm.
comes in at $15 for 3.4 ounces. They do have a bigger and a smaller size. So if you want to start smaller, you can. If you know you love it, you can grab a jumbo size. This one is glycolic and witch hazel. So
Okay.
again, witch hazel is a natural salicylic acid. So
Mhm.
technically, this could be put in that same category as like the Ulla Hendrickson Glow Toner because that also had witch hazel. Just a little bit more of a
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I think that's what I had written. Let me double
Oh, I
check.
mean, probably. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just,
yeah. It's just
okay.
in the middle of the ingredient list, so I didn't know
Oh, got it.
how high up
Okay.
there it was.
Okay.
Um,
So that's a mix of BHA and AHA, those two
yeah, a
products.
natural BHA. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, cool.
Um, the other one was the Pharmacy Honeymoon Glow, which
Okay.
we have talked about. I think we've mentioned it in passing. We've never like deep dived into it.
Mhm.
This one is $58 for a 1 ounce serum. It is 14% AHA and BHA. They don't necessarily give you the individual concentrations.
Mhm.
And I probably could have read the ingredient list, but it didn't have a super broad, clear spectrum of like which AHAs it used. I
Mm.
would assume a glycolic and lactic. And then
Mhm.
it uses this thing called a flour acid blend, which I assume is something like the enzymes or just natural acids that occur in nature to just give it a little bit more of that extra oomph.
Got
This
it.
one's really good for brightening and
Yeah.
smoothing texture. Like
It's a
it's
very good serum. We've both
mm,
used it, so both of our skin types. And it does tingle a little bit for me sometimes, not
really
all the time. Yeah. But I've never gotten irritated from it. I've never gotten like scaliness or rashiness or anything. It's kind of one
no.
of those things where once I finished it, I wanted to try other things, but if I had to pick one that I knew was going to be safe, that would be on my list.
100%. I don't,
Yeah.
which is odd because I feel like I tend to get that tingly feel a lot more than you do. And this one
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know,
And I use
weird.
like a pump and a half. I will say you have to be careful pumping this product because if you pump too hard, it goes everywhere. It's been on my wall twice this week. And I'm like,
That's so annoying.
I like the first time I was like, I'm not gonna, I'm like, I just wiped it off. And the second time, like, I had just cleaned the sink like 10 minutes before. So I knew that my sink was clean. And I was like, I'm not wasting that.
Right.
That's expensive. And you guarantee I put it on my neck. I didn't put it on my face, but I was like,
Right.
my neck can handle that.
Right.
Because I was lucky enough that, well, it's sad. The Sephora JC Penney that I used to work at is no longer carrying pharmacy,
Yeah, you
which is
mentioned that.
heartbreaking. So I actually got it when it was on sale after Christmas. So it was already 40% off plus 20. So
Mm.
I got it for I think like $35 or something, which if you can get it on sale, even better. But I think it's definitely worth your money from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, what I personally think is the best multi-purpose formulation. I picked one product, but there's an entire line, and it is the Kate Somerville Exfoliate line. So she
Yeah.
has a cleanser, an exfoliator, a toner. She has a moisturizer too, but it's But those three, the cleanser we've talked about before, it's one of my holy grail cleansers. The exfoliator in itself is the product I want to touch on because that is what started her like exfoliate line. And it's one of her hero products. Like that and her
Yes.
acne products, I would say are what she's known for. This one is $88 for 2 ounces. I will say personally, it takes me about 10 months to a year to go through a full bottle. It takes me quite a bit because they don't need it very often.
Right.
They do have a mini that's, I believe, 24, and they sell a jumbo. So depending, it's this beautiful like pea green color. It does have a physical scrub to it. And then the exfoliation in it, the chemical is lactic, salicylic, and then it does use 3 different types of enzymatic exfoliators. So you get pumpkin, papaya, and pineapple. So you're getting all 3 different types of exfoliation you can have. But somehow this product does not irritate your skin when used correctly. That's the caveat.
That's the little asterisk. Use it correctly. Yeah. Just don't use it morning and night, 7 days a week, you know?
Yeah.
And don't use it
really,
morning and night. Just use it a couple times a week, once a day.
I use it once every 2 weeks. I think that's the most that I actually need it.
Really?
That's how I mean, that's why it takes me so long to go through.
Right.
But like,
Okay.
I honestly do think this product, like I could use it once a week, but I don't need to. It does such a good job of making my skin glow, smoothing my texture. It does help clear out my pores. And just makes, I really actually like doing it in the morning or the night before. I know back when I had events, I would do it before like a big event because it just made my makeup apply so nicely.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, it recommends you apply to wet skin, scrub in for 30 seconds, and then you leave on for a minute or 2.
Yeah.
So I will say, I always, when I sold this product, I would recommend if you are new, scrub it for 30 seconds, wash it off. Don't leave it. Just scrub it on, rub it in, even for a minute, like scrub for 30 seconds, leave for 30 seconds, rinse. I now personally can let it sit for closer to 3 or 4 and it's fine. But I would not recommend that because this product, they've also changed the grit size in this product since I first bought it. So it's a little bit more fine and now it's not as like hefty.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I actually like. I think it's a little bit more made for sensitive skins, but it is my holy grail exfoliator. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. It's why I fell in love with this brand, Kate Somerville. Kate Somerville wants to get me a job. I would come back to beauty for Kate Somerville. Like I love her products. I love her.
And she's made different variations of this. Didn't she make a gentle skin?
She does have a gentle one as well.
I think I have it.
Actually.
Oh my God, wait, are they not making this? Exfoliate.
It's not being produced anymore. I don't see the gentle on here.
That's so sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now I'm just starting to shop. But yeah, those are I would say the top 3 products at different price points. There is one other that I didn't mention, but I think some people might like, which is the Ordinary Glycolic 7% toner.
Yeah. What's in that? It's just 7% glycolic.
And this is what I think is annoying is it's just 7% glycolic, but it dries me out and I feel stripped from it. Whereas like the Paula's Choice 2% salicylic, I don't feel that. But it's really cheap. It's $8. You get like 8 fluid ounces. Like it's definitely, I think if you just want to try something, you want to run to Ulta, get something quick, it's a good option. I'd say it's better than their other exfoliating options. So that peel that we both still have to try, that's so intensive. I would not recommend starting with, but their toner's not bad. I just personally, it's not something I ever like am excited to reach for. But
it works well. It's just, it is strong. Like if I was at Ulta and I had to choose between Pixie and the Ordinary one, I would choose the Pixie one.
Pixie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the article that I did read was like, it's half the price. And I'm like, yeah, but it's double the pain on my skin. So like, I'll just pay the extra money for the Pixie.
Yeah. I do know some people who really love the Ordinary one. I think my older sister really liked it. And maybe if I was, maybe if I used it in more humid weather, like I guess I could have really tried it again this past summer when I was in New York. Maybe I would have liked it more.
I did like it in the fall time when I was in New York, the fall of 2019, when it was still a little hot in September.
Yeah.
But then I transitioned into the cold months and it was a little much.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it gets hot in Michigan, but it's not as like it's muggy, but not like it is in New York.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it fitting into my routine or like my lifestyle where I'm at. Well, that is everything that we have for acids. I hope that was educational and that people felt like they had a little bit more of a breakdown and then examples of those products.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to DM us on Instagram. It's barefaced.podcast.
Yeah. And you can also send us an email, which is barefaced.podcast@gmail.com.
And then we also have a Facebook page, which is Barefaced, a beauty podcast. And you can, I believe you can message us through that page, or you can leave us a comment on there as well. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is that I've never really used Facebook as a page like recently. And because Instagram and Facebook, right, whatever, Facebook owns Instagram, the DMs we get on Instagram show up on our Facebook DMs.
I know.
And it's like the same notifications. It's twice. I just don't understand why they did that.
But they won't let us post from Instagram to Facebook.
Oh, why make it easy?
Why? Yeah. I don't know why they do that. And I'm a person that like my inbox has to be zero notifications on everything I own, like no phone notifications, or that like I put the app on my second page so I don't see them.
Right.
So that bothers the crap out of me because I know that we're just gonna have to keep up on that inbox to make it zero because I have.
Yeah, and but it's double them. It's the same messages twice. It makes no sense. But yeah, anyway,
so
you can
annoying.
send us questions on any medium and hopefully we'll get them.
Yes.
And if you find a product and you're not sure of, I don't know, if you're not sure how to use it or you want our opinions on it, please send them to us. We love
send it over.
You know, that kind of stuff.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you at listening. One day I'll learn the lingo. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my God.
Make the merch.
Oh, one day I will learn the lingo. Well, thank you so much for listening to our podcast, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.